Welcome everyone, it is Toby and thank you for joining me on my channel. Today we're doing a quick sketch of a moody sky, and that's exactly what we are focusing on. We're going to try and do this in about 10 minutes and I'm going to talk you through how quick sketching doesn't mean rushing, it just means making decisions and letting those watercolors do the work. And along the way we'll look at the sort of difficulties, the challenges, sketching quickly, and why sometimes just a couple of extra minutes can make all the difference. And with that, let's just start. So this is a scene from St. Neots. It's just a little corner shop. But I was walking my dog and I thought, doesn't that sky look amazing? So I took a quick photo. Now from here, all we're going to do from this photo, we're just going to capture those key shapes. So step one, key shapes. I'm using some waterproof ink here. You can check out all my supplies on my website. The link is in the description. And look, this is the kind of key shape number one, is the shape of this looming sort of, well, corner shop. If a corner shop can ever be looming, they're a sort of friendly thing, aren't they? I'm just going to get a little bit of the texture going on as well. This kind of idea of more than just the shape, more than just the simple shape. We've also got the textures of the grass here. And of course, let's just pop in this fun little road sign. That kind of grounds us, doesn't it? It tells us so much about the scene. It gives us something we can write on and remember where we were. Bring that round, and now we've got the shape of this side of the scene sort of pushing in. And it's just begging for this to be filled up, isn't it? So all I'm going to do is work outwards now. So I'll come along and just start finding some of these key shapes. It can actually be quite convenient when we're working along a long thin bit like this. It can be convenient, for me at least. I like to draw the kind of silhouette of the scene first, and that lets me, instead of spending loads of effort placing everything in exactly the right place, it lets me sort of loosely find the scene, work out where it's going to sit within my page, and then come back and go, right, I can add in some of these little window details, maybe even like suggestions of cars here and there. But this is a quick sketch, so we don't have time for tons of detail. We just have enough time to come underneath our sort of silhouette and suggest a few bits, suggest a few windows, suggest a car. And when I say suggest, I mean, look, simple shapes like that, and we've basically got a car. Now, it doesn't matter that it's abstract. In fact, in a sort of really quick sketch, that's, I guess, is one of the challenges, or put another way, it's one of the opportunities, is to loosen up, to take a more abstract approach to the art, to let the kind of colours, the shape, the simple facts of the scene speak more than if you were to spend hours drawing every little detail. And you might be amazed in a quick sketch how much more emotion you can get in, because you just don't have the time to overwork and make it feel rigid, make it feel stilted. Now, key bits for me in quick sketches are getting the links in, getting those little links in the scene. And one thing which links the scene is, as silly as it sounds, literally the telephone wires. Because look, as soon as we get these wires in, the scene is busy. It tells you that there's stuff going on over here off the page. It tells you so much about what is going on, and it fills the page with ink, but ink that means something. It's not just pointless ink, it means something. Come down, grab that one as well, and we can just find a couple more light suggestions. And that is our ink work done. In 3.5 minutes, we got shapes, we got the silhouette, we added a few details, and we're ready to focus on the important bit, the fun bit, the colours and that sky. So when we are thinking about how to sketch and paint quickly, the key is to just remember that we are painting with watercolours and they will paint themselves. All you need to do is let them. So I'm going to put water down first, and then look, I touch in my colour and it paints. I don't have to move it around. In fact, the fewer times I dib and dab my brush, the fewer strokes I make, the smoother, the less complicated, the less busy that this sketch will be, and the more that natural, just light of the watercolour will come shining through. I'm using a combination here of a bit of indigo, a bit of lunar black, and a little bit of cobalt blue as well. Now that cobalt blue, you see, lifts and pushes things around, and it just provides a little bit of happiness in what could otherwise be a very dour scene if we just sort of chose lunar colours and indigo. And that's when we're talking again about quick sketching, about abstract sketching. What we're talking about is making decisions which allow us to quickly get what's important about the scene to us. Here what's important is the mood of that sky. It's not the exact sky, it's the feel, the mood of that sky. I'm going to bring that sky down just in through the back here. Bringing it through the back sort of pushes things back. It makes those areas feel less important. It gives them distance. And then I can use that kind of little link. And I talked about these in my course. There's a little workshop on water bridges, as I call them. And I use that to then make things feel quickly together, to stop there being all these competing lines, and just to allow me to really quickly create a loose sketch like this. Again, we could even drop a little bit of abstract blue in there, a little bit of green snuck onto my brush as well. That's okay, because I'm actually going to take a little bit of yellow, pop it into my blue, and I think a nice muddy green just in the grass and in that tree might also just help explain a little bit more about what's going on in our scene. You see how that's pushed out? I can push that back just by putting a bit more blue in. Do you see that blue now, because it's higher concentration, literally pushes all that green back, and I've saved my sky without having to pick up or lift or move things around too much. A little bit more indigo, going to just drop in a few places just to get more of that mood going. And then I want to lift this image with something else as well, and what I'm going to try and find is something bright, something bold, maybe a little bit of yellow. A little bit of yellow. We've already used that yellow in this green, so let's add it in and find these sort of little road markings. For me, that's a really fun touch. You might not like it, so feel free to leave it out. The other thing we could do is just apply a nice bold touch of yellow and then red to this this sign here, just to show that it is something else. It's popping out. It's not the same as everything else. It's not the same. It's got this sort of unique quality, and that kind of hopefully immediately tells us it's a sign. It's supposed to stand out. The only thing I need to do is balance that red somewhere else. So touch of red here, touch of red, just to make that red not just on its own in this corner. We could even do splashes in here, splashes around there, splashes up there. Anything goes really. Just take it gently, make those decisions, and don't overdo it. And just like that, actually we can probably call this basically done. I don't want to add any more until it's dry. And that is where the difficulty with really quick sketching in watercolours comes. Because as this dries, it's going to lose intensity. So often, waiting 10 minutes and just doing 2-3 more minutes of really quick sketching can turn your quick sketch into something brilliant instead of something pretty good. The other thing I'm going to try out, now you might have seen my video recently on granulation, particularly this granulation medium by Schmink. Now let's just try it in this sky. Let's see what it adds if we just isolate a little area and add a little spray of this. And hopefully that will provide some really interesting textures to work with. We might even do something different and just come in really close to one area and spray that in, really give a really big bold texture. And let's see what happens. We will see what happens when this is dried and whether that was a great decision or a terrible decision. And just like that, we are mostly dry. We've got these areas which are still wet, but they'll take a long time to dry. What we can see is that granulation medium looked a bit scary when we first put it on, but actually it's quite soft, the effect it's given today. You can see these little speckles of texture, but it's a gentle and actually I think a good effect that we've introduced. We can also see things have faded in general, haven't they? So that's what I'm talking about, where I say it's difficult to sketch in 10 minutes because you need that drying time to just bring out a little extra something. And all we're going to do is a couple of little touches. So I'm going to take my blue indigo mix again, and look, we can just add some shadows in a few places. Find that distant house we pushed back. Maybe these windows can just get a little shadow. Maybe under the eaves of this red house gets a shadow, under this tree, Maybe even the tree just gets an intense bit of green. Similarly, we could do little sort of grass-like shapes over here. All these small, slightly abstract or very abstract touches that are just elevating it, providing a little extra punch. I might even want to just add some clearer dots of red there and splash into this window so that this window now has a suggestion of like life or something going on. So I'm just going to use 3 primary colours, the colours we have already used of course, and just then blend them together. And now we've got this abstract idea of a window. Abstract idea of a window there, something light, something with life, contrasting the rest of this sort of grumpy scene. A few little touches here and there, little touches like so. And lastly, let's just re-emphasize this sort of bit of yellow going across. And I think that's our sketch done. And the whole thing, including our drying time, well, maybe it took me 20 minutes, but in actual sketching time, around 10 minutes of actual sketching time to produce a really fun little scene of my hometown. And that's the kind of thing which makes me happy. So if you want to have fun, enjoy yourself, be happy, try some quick sketching. And if you like this kind of style, this kind of approach to risk taking but mistake enjoying watercolours, join me on my course on sketchloose.co.uk. And please join me here, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you everyone for watching my little sketching videos. If you enjoy my content, please do subscribe to my channel because it makes me really, really happy. Thanks again.